Hello and welcome to Lindsay Akashic channel. I am your host, Lindsay, and today we are opening the records on the year 2050. Now, whenever we're opening the Akashic records on something in the future, keep in mind always that the future is not set in stone and we have free will. So anytime you're opening the records for yourself personally, or you're opening on a particular topic in the future, just know that we haven't gotten there yet, okay? It's not set in stone. So things can be changed. However, the information that's coming through is based on the consciousness that we're at today. That can always change. So it's really fun to look into the future to see what could happen based on where we're at right now. So in opening the Akashic records on the year 2050, I said the opening prayer off camera, and the questions we're going to ask: what's the opening message or the opening visual for the year 2050? What glimpse of 2050 should we see for our greatest benefit? What aspects have evolved in humanity by 2050? What challenges are we facing? And what can we do today to best support people and the planet in 2050? And then finally, what's the most important message, right? So we always like to close with what's the most important message, in case there's something that we haven't covered and we haven't asked that the Akashic Records feels really important for us to know. So usually the opening message and the closing message, or the most important message, those are the messages where we give it up to the Akashic Records and say, well, what do we need to know? So in opening the Akashic Records, the opening visual, the opening message. So I'm seeing the sun very, very strong. And I'm seeing like a desert landscape, and a tarantula, or a large spider, seems like a large furry spider, it looks like a tarantula, is slowly walking across the land. This landscape, this desert landscape. And they're giving me the word slow burn. They're saying slowly. Everything moves slowly, slower. And it's the sense of like the heat. So the intensity from the heat. Like if you live in a desert area, everyone moves a little slower. Everyone feels a little more, I'm getting the word like lazy. They're saying slow down, slow burn. So that's the opening visual and the opening message. And they're saying distraught. They're saying distraught, and they're saying drought. Okay, so that's the opening message, that's the opening visual. So what glimpse of 2050 should we see for our greatest benefit? What glimpse of 2050 should we see for our greatest benefit? They're showing me someone in a spacesuit. They're saying the word spacesuit and space exploration. They're saying forgotten ways. Forgotten ways of being on Earth. Forgotten. Last chance, last path. Last chance. That's the glimpse of 2050 we should see for our greatest benefit. The space exploration is to our benefit. Okay, so what aspects have evolved in humanity by 2050? What aspects have evolved in humanity by 2050? They're saying basic instincts, basic human instincts, survival instincts, intelligence, adaptability, creativity, survival mechanisms of, I'm getting like clever intelligence, founded in foundations of, they're saying basic human rights, basic human needs, structural, basics, minimal, clearly, cleverly, to the point, direct, focused. Survival, I'm getting heightened instincts, heightened sensitivities, heightened institutions, high sensitivity. Interesting. Something about sensitivity, sensors, sensitivity. So creative technology. I'm getting something about like human intuition and technology share in like spidey senses. So like technology is like hypersensitivity, and then like the human hypersensitivity kind of like, they're like work hand in hand, like hand over hand, to get our basic needs met. And they're saying of the highest importance. What challenges are we facing in 2050? What challenges are we facing in 2050? They're saying mass destruction. Saying like clearance, permissions, clearance, valuable, high stakes, values. What challenges are we facing in 2050? I'm getting peace, war, destruction, overly fixated on resources. So the war and the destruction is based on having our basic needs met. They're saying stretches humanity to its core values, core morals. Things are streamlined. They're kind of showing like as if someone has like all this stuff in their life, this like material stuff, and then all that stuff, it's like they're standing here in the core and they're surrounded by all this stuff, and this stuff gets like squeezed, like kind of like wrung out, like there's not the stuff. It's just you at your core. What can we do today to best support people and the planet in 2050? What can we do today to best support people and the planet in 2050? They're saying stop fighting, restrictions, They're saying obey your inner world, your inner world. Similar to your future outer world, your inner world. This is basic needs. They're saying get in touch with your basic needs. If we get in touch with our basic needs now, so they're showing that person at the core and like all their abundant stuff. If we get in touch with our basic needs now, and we understand that all this excess stuff is not necessary for our human survival, they're saying distribute, wealth of distribution. You can start giving that stuff. If we stop fighting distribution of wealth. If we do that, they're kind of saying you will level. They're saying level up, like everyone can level up. There's this balance that happens. So if everyone's needs can be met, they're saying less destructive later. So they're like, give away, give away, give away, give away. They're kind of saying like, give away everything you don't need for your basic needs. They're saying especially to those who need the most, because what I'm getting is like, there's like the rise up, the uprising of those who don't have their basic needs met. And because of that, they're like war, global war. They're saying give until needs are met, more needs are met. War, they're saying war, poverty. Poverty equals war. Basic needs unmet, war. Basic needs met, peace. So they're showing this wave of just like wealth that needs to like wash over the whole planet, just wash over everybody so that everybody has their basic needs met. They're also saying water sources. They're like light bulb bright ideas about water, like water systems. They're saying invent new like ways of hydration, of keeping hydrated. They're saying focus on water, growing food, nourishing soil, hydrated, hydrated, hydrated. There's something about creating water. They're kind of showing like wells, like creating water within the earth, more water within the earth. They're kind of saying before it's too late. In the places where we have the ability to create landscapes, waterscapes, waterways, we can help manipulate and change the landscapes, the design of the earth, so that it captures drinking water. And they're saying we need to do that. They're kind of saying water sources, food sources, resources, but also wealth of distribution of wealth. It's funny because they keep saying wealth of distribution, distribution of wealth, wealth of distribution. There's a wealth of distribution. They're saying jobs, more jobs around creating pathways and avenues to get basic needs met to those who need it the most. They're kind of like, they're saying if you're feeling called today to start businesses, to start these avenues of creating ways to get what's needed to those who need it, they're like, go for it. They're like, big time, go for it. Okay. And so what's the most important message we need to know about the year 2050? They're saying war and destruction. They're saying just death. They're showing me a grim reaper and like the hot sun and like dehydration. I'm getting like at the core. And they're saying like unless, and they're underlining the word unless you start doing this right now, start doing this today. They're like, as much as possible, distribution of wealth. As much as possible, give away. They're kind of like, find out who needs what and get them what they need. And it's global. They're saying like word of mouth, and they're showing this like domino effect. They're showing like a whole row of dominoes. I'm like, it happens really fast. It can happen really fast, the distribution of wealth can happen really fast. We just have to get the avenues. We have to get the right avenues. Get it to the right people. They're saying that's like of the utmost importance. Well, I think that was kind of predictable, right? I mean, that we were going to be looking at something like that. I appreciate the tips on what they're saying that we can do to prevent some of that from happening. And I see that happening. We just need to do it more. So if you feel called to explore any of those avenues, it seems like that's going to be really supported work, literally and like spiritually as well. Whew, okay. So I hope you enjoyed that. The Akashic Records on the year 2050. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I feel empowered. I'm going to tell you that the feeling around this is like the glimpse is for us to feel empowered to do something today, to do something right now. And again, it's based on our consciousness today. The future readings are based on where we're at now. So if we don't want that outcome, we can change it. The future is not set in stone, and we have free will. So never forget that, okay? So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.